The San Jose Sharks make multiple moves as the trade deadline expires, as they have sent Luke Kunin to the Blue Jackets for draft compensation, which does raise some questions in Ryan Warsofsky's lineup moving forward, losing some special teams power. But the Sharks also went out and made a goalie signing for the San Jose Barracuda. We got to dive into all of the latest San Jose trade deadline moves on this episode of Sharks Digest. But a quick reminder, guys, to hit that subscribe button. A ton of you, over 60%, are still not subscribed. We got Sharks content all season long. This is the spot to be. Let's dive right into it, and we'll start with Luke Kunin. As according to Aaron Portsline, Columbus parted with a fourth-round pick in 2025 to acquire Luke Kunin from San Jose. Not sure if it's Columbus's own pick or the pick they acquired from St. Louis for Alexander Texier, and as of the recording of this video, we're not sure either. But Mark, at the end of the day, Luke Kunin, he was fine for San Jose. I mean, he was putting up some decent numbers, 11 goals this year. We saw him get some power play reps. Again, he was more notable on the PK, of course, taking over 80 shorthanded faceoffs this season. A fourth-round pick is a little less than I would have wanted. After the Wallman trade went through, I was pretty content with getting a first from that. So I was wanting a third for Kunin. A fourth makes sense for a fourth-line guy. How do you feel about the return for this? I know we're losing some special teams power here, like you can see. His hole is seen there on the, see if he continue to play PP2 down the stretch, but penalty kill for sure is the big thing with him. How do you feel about a fourth in terms of a return for Luke Kunin? I'm not thrilled, but I'm not upset either.
It's one of those things. Listen, obviously everyone wants the best trade. You want a third round pick or more for your player, but with Luke Kunin, a fourth liner that's going to continue to be a fourth liner, it seems like I think Mike Grier is just handling his management assets in the best way possible. Listen, you could keep Kunin. He could stay on this team, play on the penalty kill one, play on PK2, PP2, sorry. But looking at this, I think the best bet's just get a fourth round pick, add to your draft cover. This is a team that's going to have a lot of draft picks over the next couple of seasons. I mean, listen, yes, you do lose out on some in the lineup. I think he was playing a bit of third line, mostly fourth. So you do lose that, but I think it gives the younger guys on the Barracuda more to develop on the team. They can get called up, get a promotion, play a bit with the team, not have to worry about scratching guys to get them in the lineup. And once again, a fourth round pick could turn into a great player, or this could be a part of a bigger trade maybe in the offseason where Mike Grier could say, hey, I have a first and an extra fourth. Why not go out and make a trade?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I would not be shocked if, soon into this off season, you see that fourth go somewhere else. Like, that's a great point, right? You look at these trades and be like, oh yeah, that was the fourth we acquired at the Luke Kunin deal. It was a bit of a sweetener, right? Like a second round pick on its own. How about a second and a fourth? That's enough to get a lot of teams, maybe we might push them over the edge in a trade. And while Luke Kunin, look, he spent some good time here in San Jose. He was, fans sometimes liked him, sometimes not. His performance this year overall was fine. I think his numbers maybe even outperformed the advanced metrics, but I can't be upset with the production in San Jose. He was physical. He did what he needed to do. He was a grindy type player, played on the penalty killing. Getting an asset for him is great, Mark. And again, looking at everything Mike Grier did this deadline, he clearly stuck to his values. He was like, I'm not shipping out guys just for nothing, but he got good returns on all the trades. We're talking about that Granlund trade with Cece. We're talking about this Luke Kunin trade. We're talking a first for Jake Wallman. And now looking at the draft capital, again, like we were talking about, filling in some of those mid-round draft picks was something that, hey, you might as well try and do with your pending UFAs. It's a seller's market. And even for a fourth liner, Luke Kunin, who might even be a 13th forward on some good teams, I assume he'll be playing fourth line for the Blue Jackets. Getting something back for him instead of just losing him for nothing on a team that sees no future with him is just good asset management. I mean, overall, how would you grade Mike Grier's trade deadline? I mean, I would say honestly an A. It's hard to say S with a team like this right now because like the Wallman trade might even push it towards there. But like, maybe if they had also gotten a first and a Ferraro deal, which as of the recording of this video, it hasn't happened. Maybe it'd come out after the deadline. I don't think so. I would say a nice A tier deadline from Mike Grier. I think he did a good job with what he had.
And the biggest thing is, listen, on this, I don't even think the fourth is included in this yet. It hasn't fully updated on Puckpedia.
Yeah.
But looking at the draft capital, I give it an A as well. Listen, the Wallman trade shocked me. I thought Wallman was great. He added offensive firepower. I mean, looking at the power play, it's going to be missed without him on it. But looking at the draft capital he added, adding these managed assets, going in, he has an extra first round pick, an extra fourth round pick, adding more just over and over again, and losing out on guys that he got for nothing or was paid to take. I give this a solid A. Listen, if they moved on Ferraro and they get a haul for him, a first, an extra pick, a prospect, sure, bump it to an S. But I think Mike Grier is doing a great job working towards the future of this team, opening up cap space, going into next year and not losing people for nothing. We've seen a lot of general managers either not do anything or sell for too little at some point. So I think this is the perfect opportunity for the Sharks to kind of build what they have in their young core. They still have a lot of young pieces, Celebrini, obviously Smith. There's so many young guys to build with. I don't know, Josh. I give it an A as well. And honestly, I do agree. I think they're done, but I wouldn't be surprised if they moved on from even Ferraro at the draft this year.
Yeah, this is going to be a big offseason. The draft is going to be huge for the Sharks. They're going to need to sign some contracts or trade for some big contracts to hit that cap floor. There's going to be a lot of stuff, with all the trade deadline stuff going on today. There's a lot of movement these days in the NHL. So, hey, we'll keep you up to date on anything on that front. But they did do one other thing that we wanted to highlight here before the end of the trade deadline. There's no deadline for this, but they did sign goalie Gabriel Carriere to a 1-year, 2-way contract for the San Jose Barracuda. And he has honestly been pretty good. And we wanted to mention this because, look, he's not a massive name or anything, but he's been holding it down for the Barracuda. Again, playing a lot last season in the ECHL on the coast with Wichita Thunder. He was really good in his first pro season. Again, an undrafted 24-year-old from Ottawa, Ontario, went to the University of Vermont, was quite solid throughout that whole thing, and his first pro season was a success. And his first real full AHL season now in 10 games, above a 900 save percentage, 2.85 GAA. He's not lighting the world on fire, but this kind of thing, Mark, is really good for the San Jose Sharks. Well, number one, because again, right now, they had to call up their Barracuda goalie. It's because Askarov's still, got some injury stuff, dealing with some things. And when Askarov is finally ready to come up to the Sharks, right? Having another good, solid player, one that especially that you signed, an undrafted kind of player, it's very much goodwill for the team down there. Cool to have another backup that can maybe take over the reins in a year or two if you need him to, but to have him down there, just have that kind of a support system for whenever Askarov does make that final jump. I think it's a little subtle move, but a very important one for the depth of this organization.
And that's the biggest thing. Listen, you're getting him signed to an extension. As you said, he had a good start to the AHL this year, 902 save percentage. He was good in the ECHL, so getting a young goaltender, only 24 years old, everyone knows goaltenders take time to develop. I mean, Askarov's looking like he's developing at an extreme rate, which is awesome, but it adds insurance on the goaltender situation with the Barracuda, and then you can call Askarov up. He can be the starting goaltender at the end of the year. I'm sure he's going to be sent down to be the goaltender for the Barracuda in the playoffs, but looking at this, you need insurance between the pipes. The last thing you want to do is call Askarov up. 2 goaltenders go down on the Barracuda, then you're stuck with your ECHL guys, and nothing against them, but you want consistency between the pipes. So I do like this signing. Listen, it's a low risk, high reward. This guy could turn into a starter in the AHL, backup in the NHL. Maybe you trade him, maybe he ever turns into something, but I do like the tidy work Mike Grier has been doing, and I think this offseason is going to be one of the biggest in quite some time for the Sharks.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I said he played in the ECHL last year. It was this year, but yeah, he's doing great. First pro season. He seems like a good person. I mean, we've seen some interviews with him. It looks amazing, but looking forward for the Sharks right now. The biggest thing is, looking at the rest of the way, they're going to need some insurance, whether in the AHL or the NHL, wherever. This is not going to be an easy final stretch of the season, with San Jose being dead last in the NHL, and it's not looking like it's getting any better. But hey, Mike Grier had a good trade deadline, and we want to know what you guys have to say about it. Is it an A tier? Is it an S tier? Or maybe you think it's worse than we think. We'd love to hear your thoughts down below, because that'll do it for this episode of Sharks Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. We got all your latest San Jose Sharks news. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Mark Pye. We'll catch you in the next one.